got a showdown in the AFC West. It's the Broncos and the Raiders, and it comes your way next.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to Las Vegas, Nevada. The atmosphere here, electric. No matter the venue, the home folks love their silver and black. They are fired up as their Raiders get set to face off with the Denver Broncos. And we are underway at Allegiant Stadium. And the opening kickoff will not be returned, as that will be a touchback. So here are the Broncos now for their opening drive. Yep. Be led out by the #1 overall pick back in 2020 from LSU. It's Joe Burrow.
And they are in rhythm on offense because of him. I mean, right now he's got everything going the way he wants to, finding the receivers the way he wants to, looking over defenses. No interceptions is the number I lock in on. Before a touchdown pass isn't so bad either.
Yeah, what a game he had last week. And a really good show of force there as he gets through for 4 tough yards. The numbers on the ground for Williams a week ago. 12 carries, 126 yards, and a trip to the end zone as well.
And the way they ran the ball in last week's game has to be satisfying to their entire staff because they're seeing not just a back gain big yardage, but they're seeing an offensive line really in sync.
Good job, good job. Come on with it, man. Do it. Good job, baby.
Following the pickup of 4, here's 2nd and 6. Now it's Burrow. And down he goes. Brought down a Raider sack. They push him back 8 yards that time on 2nd down. And just not much a quarterback can do there, CD. The pressure was in his face almost instantaneously. Led to a very quick sack.
And this came from the edge. And those pass rushers, they have so many tricks in the trade to get around blockers. They have a lot of tools in their kit. This was pure speed and athleticism on this play, though. And they could barely get a glove on him before he got the quarterback on the ground.
As we check the next-gen stats, you'll see he had precious little time to do anything with the football there. Though certainly not the start they were looking for here as they come up on a 3rd and 14. Here's Burrow setting up to throw it. And the grab by Croft. And some room to work. And finally out of bounds all the way down at about the 2. A big play there on the catch and run. I tell you, for a defender, that's got to be a scary sight, seeing a big man like this with a head of steam behind him as he makes that catch and then turns upfield.
Yeah, this is what we mean when we talk about flipping the field, having your offense look at going a long way to a short way after he makes a play. His ability to do that, evident. Able to make the catch there, keep his momentum going, and just continue downfield.
And you can see the distance traveled there after the catch on the next-gen stats. First and goal, a chance for an early statement here on the road. Burrow looking to pass. And he's going to go down just outside of the 5, right around the 6-yard line. It's a loss of 4, and now it's 2nd and goal. And he'll be stopped up after only a couple of yards as he gets it down to the 5. From the 5-yard line, with this opening drive yield 6. This is 3rd and goal. Here's Burrow. And it's caught. Touchdown. A great play there. His 4th touchdown on the year. And the Broncos take it all the way down the field and score on the opening drive. Looking sharp on that first drive. These guys, of course, coming off back-to-back victories, and you see that kind of advancing into this game, don't you?
You certainly do, and when you have a team that doesn't get too full of itself, even though they've won 2 games in a row, you get the end result that we saw there, that nice opening drive, because they're sharp, they're focused, and they're locked into everything that they're doing.
Extra point splits the uprights, and that makes the score 7-0. Here is Wisnowski to boot it away following the touchdown. Fielded just outside the goal line. And he takes this near the 25. Just a little pass there. Call it the 26. So here comes the Raiders offense now onto the field. They'll be led out by a first-round pick back in 2021 from Ohio State. It's Justin Fields.
And what a game he is coming off of.
Oh, unbelievable.
Absolutely. And you know how much I love the history of the game. He broke a record held by the Dutchman, Norm van Brocklin, right? You got to go all the way back to 1951 and he threw for 554 yards in that game. And later, won a championship as a quarterback of the Philadelphia Eagles in 1960.
And now that record has been set anew. And look at this. They come right back with a big shot downfield. And he's able to get this to the 40-yard line before he's out of bounds. A big play there for the Raiders.
There's no doubt in my mind that not many guys in this league have had the impact that he's had here in the first half of the season. He's been a big play guy from the word go and continues to be one with another one right there.
So the big play moves him all the way across midfield to the 40 now for 1st and 10. And down inside the 35 he goes to the 32-yard line. So they'll come up after the gain of 7 on a 2nd and 3.
Brings up 2nd and 3.
And here's a handoff out of the gun. And only able to get 2 here. Stopped at the 30. This defense for the Broncos, they put together a strong effort last week in the win over Chicago.
Yeah, what stood out to me on tape, the way they were flying to the football. So that tells me that they've got all their assignments down, and they're playing with extreme confidence.
From the gun, he'll hand this off. And he's got the first as they'll bring him down at the 28-yard line. Had a chance to maybe limit them to 3 if they could have gotten that stop there, but a new set of downs.
And with a new set of downs, you got to take the mentality of the whole thing. Right now, everyone's looking at the offense and saying they've got the advantage. The best defenses just say, okay.
And that is caught. Touchdown, Raiders. Henry Ruggs, his 9th touchdown of the season. And the Raiders, they're within an extra point of tying this thing up. And he's a little bit on the shorter side as a receiver. Maybe sometimes for the defense, tough to find the little guys, right?
Yeah, sometimes they get lost in the traffic, but usually what it means is that rather than just winning with height or even speed, they use their quickness to find a way to get open.
Well, tall, short, wide, skinny, whatever. There it results in a touchdown. Parkey adds the extra point, and that will tie our score here in this opening quarter of play. Each team's had it. Each team has scored. 7-7 here as the kick's away. And this will not be returned. It's a touchback, and they'll begin at the 25. So now the second drive offensively coming up for the Denver Broncos. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
They go play action with Burrow. Blitz coming, and down he goes. They'll wind up losing 8 on the sack there, and it's 2nd down. And that is the 3rd sack this offensive line has allowed this first quarter.
Yeah, that puts him on pace. Let me do the rudimentary math here. To be sacked 12 times in a game, I know he's not going to go for that. I wonder if it's going to reshape what they decide to do on offense in terms of play calling.
Well, I can tell you what, when he popped up, shaking his head, frustrated right now behind center. Well behind the sticks here with a 2nd and 18. Another try after the first down sack. Under pressure, and they got to him again. They'll wind up losing a full 9 yards here on the sack. Now it's 3rd down. He is proving his worth defensively, getting the sack here. That comes after being named the AFC Defensive Player of the Week for his performance in last week's game.
He's stacking games together, isn't he? I mean, you just mentioned what he did the previous week to be named AFC Defensive Player of the Week, continuing to play at that level. And when you get that kind of confidence going, those kind of guys are hard to stop.
Short throw hauled in by Croft. They do get 9, but it leads to 4th down. That is catch number 300 now for his NFL career. So on 4th down, here's the Australia native Mitch Wishnowski to punt this one away. He was only asked to punt once in the victory last week as he sends this one away. It'll be a 39-yard punt, no return, and the Raiders will take over now 1st and 10. Second drive of the game coming up for this Las Vegas offense. 3-2, their record through the first 5 games of the year as they got the victory last week. It's still early, just October, but what have you seen from these guys so far?
Well, what I've seen is a team that's still figuring out all their pieces because they've got some new faces from a year ago. Add in some new draft picks. Sometimes it takes a month or so before you really start to gel as a team and for those players to figure out their roles. But right now, I see them starting to elevate.
Cool under pressure right there, escaping the pocket and finding what I think was not his primary target.
And some of these guys are just so comfortable getting outside of the pocket that they'll do it on purpose. It doesn't even need to be a breakdown. They move, and they know it affects the defense because a lot of times you get lost in coverage in the secondary, and I think you're exactly right. Wasn't his primary target. Found a secondary guy who sprang open, probably because of his movement out of the pocket.
So a 1st and 10 now in Denver territory at the 35-yard line. Off the play fake, he'll look to throw. He got that with one hand. And he will score. Touchdown, Las Vegas. Mecole Hardman with touchdown number 7 on the year. And the Raiders on just 2 plays have taken the lead. And there they got him the ball. Just get it to him, let him do the rest.
You know, he probably said that to his quarterback as he broke the huddle. I like the play call. Just get it to me. I'll take care of the rest of it.
Helping out his rack, right? RAC.
Run after catch, and he loves that, and he's going to carry that in at contract time.
Now Parkey for the extra point. It's up and good, and it's 14-7 now here in the first quarter. Pretty clean and simple there. Just 2 plays. A long pass resulting in the touchdown on play number 2. Sanchez now. He'll kick it away following the touchdown. And this will not be brought out. It's a touchback. Joe Burrow trots out again with the rest of his offense. He's playing pretty well. I don't think it's necessarily him changing up something he's doing, but that O-line, they've got to protect him better.
They do. They've got to make sure that they give him more than enough time in order to find targets downfield. And sometimes what happens when these things are good?
The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to pump from deep inside.
And the Raiders have got him. It'll be a loss of 7 on the sack, and it brings up 2nd. Another try after the first down sack. Burrow, and hauled in by Croft. 30. And all the way down to the 26. A big play there on the catch and run.
6 yards. First down, Broncos.
Through 1 quarter, 14-7 our score. Broncos football as we begin quarter number 2. As they've got it with a 1st and 10. Throw. That's complete to his receiver, Godwin. They'll contain him to just 4. 2nd down.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did.
Well, that one was all about the defender making life difficult for the receiver. Very tough for a guy to hold on to the football through all that contact. He ends up forcing the incompletion.
And they're going to get him. He's sacked back around the 28. And the defense coming through on third down. A loss of 7 to bring up fourth. And this one is going to just tuck into the bottom left corner as he gets it to go. And they'll cut the lead back down to 4 now at 14-10. So as it turns out, that sack doesn't wind up costing them, Charles. They at least get points, get 3 of them.
Yeah, that's where your kicker can really come to your rescue because, you know, after the sack, there was a little consternation there. Are we out of field goal range? Are we going to be able to get 3? In this case, he stepped right up and gave them exactly what they needed.
From a yard or 2 deep, here comes a return. But ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. The Vegas offense ready for their next possession. And right now they're saying, hey, let's keep this going. 2 drives, 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, can't ask for a better start than that, can you? I mean, this is the way you practice it. This is the way you rehearse it. But right now, the play calling, they're locked in really well.
On play action, Fields. He'll let this go deep for Ruggs. And got his man complete. And they're going to have this way down deep in Denver territory. It's a big play there for Vegas. He's been doing this for a lot of years, and the arm strength still there, and he showed it off on that one.
And that's how you start a drive because you know they had this play in their back pocket, waiting for the right time to unleash it. And boy, did they pick the right opportunity. Unleashed it big time, and that was also a big-time throw.
And the final readout on next-gen stats, remarkable. That ball traveling close to 80 yards in the air. They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. They'll get this halfway home from the 8 to the 4 on a gain of 4. 2nd and goal from inside the 5. They'll try again. And he gets halfway home from the 4 down to the 2-yard line. A big play to start the drive got him in this position, but this defense has held firm since, and now it's 3rd and goal. Back to throw. Fields. Touchdown, Raiders! Chase Claypool. His 3rd touchdown now on the year. And the Raiders able to extend that advantage. So simple math here in the first half. They've had 3 drives offensively, and they have scored every time, and they've got the lead.
Well, whenever we talk about adjustments, we usually talk about an offense making adjustments, right? This is all about the defense. They've got to figure out some way, somehow to slow them down. Do they blitz a little bit more? Do they play more zone coverage? Right now, they don't know where to go because they're hitting them in every direction.
Parkey with the extra point, and that makes it a 21-10 game. A drive there of just 4 plays, and it winds up at 6 points for the Raiders. Sanchez now, he'll kick it away following the touchdown. The return man down to a knee, and this will come out to the 25-yard line. Joe Burrow trots out again with the rest of his offense. Been a decent start for him here in this first half, but they're losing. And I think as the captain of the offense, you probably always feel like you need to do more in that situation.
The best have always felt that way, and they won't settle for anything less. So right now, his goal is to increase what he's doing on the field. Try to make sure his teammates come along with him, and he feels like if I do better, everyone will do better. And that's what we're seeing from him right now. got to have a little extra determination.
Yeah, a little extra determination. He has thrown the touchdown pass. No interceptions for him personally to this point. Looking for Godwin, and he's got him complete. And he'll be out of bounds across the 30-yard line. A gain of 6 there on first. Throwing again on second down. Burrow. And down he goes. Brought down a Raiders sack. They push him back 8 yards that time on second down. Offensively, they're going to have to figure this out before next week. 7 sacks in one game.
Yeah, that's more than any quarterback should have to bear. And if this continues on, there will be another quarterback in the game because no one can stand up to this week after week.
On third down, Burrow looking downfield for Godwin. And that will be incomplete. Well, they weren't scared to let it fly, but it falls to the ground and brings up fourth down. The Broncos send out their punter now as he'll punt it away for the second time. Fair catch signaled for and taken just shy of the 30-yard line. So a change of possession here on the punt. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. Now we get a peek at the captain of this offense heading back out there. And he's been good. 2 first-half touchdown passes, no interceptions so far.
Does a lot for your confidence. Does a great deal for your team. Gives them a lead. And they feel,
well, this is taken in. It's complete. And he is in. Touchdown, Raiders. Henry Ruggs. His 10th touchdown of the season, 2nd of the game. And the Raiders are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. Now he's having a nice little first half here, partner.
And it's a first half that leaves us anticipating what can still come. I mean, 2 touchdowns already here through the second quarter. There could be plenty more before this game is over.
Now Parkey for the extra point. And the lead is up to 18 now. Well, the offense wasn't out there for a long time, but they were out there for a good time. One play, and they're able to hit pay dirt. Sanchez now, he'll kick it away following the touchdown. And no effort to bring this one out. It's a touchback. Joe Burrow trots out again with the rest of his offense. And how does he rally the troops, so to speak? He's played well, but they're down big on the scoreboard. How does he get his guys going?
Make sure they understand it's not a me game, it's a team game. Everyone has to come together. Everyone has to up the level of play a little bit, including himself, and find a way to make some plays in order to give them a little bit of a spark and rally the team.
We'll see if they can indeed rally down big on the scoreboard right now.
Have to give some credit to the defender on that when he read all of his keys perfectly and got a great break on the ball and able to force that incompletion.
The Broncos on third down. 2 for 5 to this point. This is 3rd and 8. Out of the gun, it's Burrow. Man open, he's got it complete to Cortland Sutton. And he goes out of bounds just shy of the 45. Coming up at halftime, I'll go from one personality, that's you, Charles Davis, to another one in Orlando, the coach. He'll have stats and scores from around the NFL. You and Jonathan Coachman both larger than life.
No doubt about it.
But you're stuck with me in this booth,
yes,
and he's miles away and smiling.
And happy.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Now it's Burrow. They're targeting Godwin once more, this time complete. Now you've got to hustle your guys to the line and get them set. And Burrow going to throw again. Looking downfield for Godwin. And unable to connect, incomplete. I'll give them credit, they took their shot, but it's going to bring up 4th down.
Well, they came up with points in their first 2 possessions, but it looks like they'll come up empty here on their 3rd drive. The defense finally starting to get locked into them a little bit. Might have to go a little bit deeper into their playbook on their next possession.
The Broncos send out their punter now as he's on to kick it away. Well, he's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Here's Hardman to return. It's a 42-yard punt, but 8 on the return. And the Raider drive will start from deep in their own territory with a 1st and 10. Henry Ruggs and the Raiders set to go back to work. He's well on his way to a 1,000-yard season, maybe on pace to just tear past that, Charles. Defensively, they need to pay a little bit more attention to him?
Yeah, I think so, because remember, throwing the football, that can shred a defense.
And that's caught inside the 35. And he will score. Touchdown, Las Vegas. Henry Ruggs on his way to a monster game. 3 first-half touchdowns. And the Raiders are able to widen their lead here in this first half. For Henry Ruggs, he was the fastest runner at the 2020 Combine, ran the 40 in 4.27. That is fast, folks, and that's speed in evidence there.
Well, in this league where coordinators worry so much about drawing up the right routes, blocking assignments, misdirections and stuff, they have these precise arrows and movements. Sometimes the best plays just come from the schoolyard where you look at your fastest guy and say, go long, go get it, big man.
And if we turn to the next-gen stats, the final clocking, well, it's ridiculous. 22.5 miles an hour. Parkey adds the extra point, and the rout is on here in this first half. Those are the ones the offensive coordinators dream about. One-play drives from that distance. One an effort, it results in the touchdown. Sanchez now, he'll kick it away following the touchdown. And it'll come out to the 25 as he will not attempt to return. Joe Burrow trots out again with the rest of his offense. A lot of the problems have been on the other side of the ball. Is that frustrating for a quarterback who's been playing well?
It is, but there's no way that the best ones let their teammates know that. They actually take it upon themselves and say, okay, I have to do even more, or I need... to play better, maybe even say I put my defense in a bad spot. That's what true leadership shows you.
Yeah, well, he doesn't need to change much personally. The Broncos onto the field ready to start their next drive. There was still more than a minute to go in the half. Time to try to mount a drive.
And I would think that they would have to. This is today's NFL. You got to push it whenever you get an opportunity. You can never have enough points with the high-powered offenses that you face. And analytics will tell you, try and score when given the opportunity. So much of this game is focus and concentration. And whenever I see guys running the in route, I know that in the back of their mind, they're always wondering who's lurking inside that might put a big hit on them as they try and catch the ball.
To throw once more on 2nd and 10. Burrow goes back to Sutton. This time completes it. Now the Broncos are going to call the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. And the Raiders call on a nickel set here for 3rd down. They're passing here. Joe Burrow. That's incomplete, but there is a flag down, so hang on. A big call coming on 3rd down. Well, the crowd doesn't like that. Was going to bring up 4th. Now it's 1st.
They don't like it at all, do they? It brings them back into it, but really not in a positive way. Now they're angry. That can jangle a team a little bit as well. Pass interference ruined that series of downs for them.
First down. Here's Burrow. Oh, he dropped it. And that's pretty indicative of the way this one's gone.
When you run in the slant, timing is everything. And against that man coverage, there was no space available, and incompletion as a result.
Throwing again, it's Burrow. And this time he's got the hook up. It's complete. Now the Broncos going to use the second of their timeouts as they get the stoppage with just under 50 seconds remaining in half number 1. From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. From the shotgun, Joe Burrow. Sideline throw, it's complete. And a nice job there of keeping the toes inbounds.
Now that's the kind of big play you'd like to see. This first half, it hasn't gone their way, and they could use a shot in the arm, something to perk them up a bit. And they get one here in the passing game.
Complete to Stewart, right side. And he is out of bounds, looks like right at the 15. 3 yards the gain there, 2nd down.
All defenses worry that whenever anyone catches the ball and has a head of steam come out of the backfield, it could turn into a big play with missed tackles or he runs through people. But they were right there waiting, and they stopped him for a minimal gain.
Looking to throw again on 2nd down. Burrow unable to corral him. He fights through. Touchdown, Broncos. A great effort there. His first touchdown on the year. And the Broncos get a late score here in the final minute of the first half. CD, it seemed like they were so focused on the guys out wide, they forgot about him out of the backfield.
That's a really good point because you've got to communicate, and oftentimes when you start counting receivers, that's exactly what you do. You start from the widest receiver, work your way inside. Who gets lost sometimes? The back in the backfield. That's exactly what happened there.
And he got into the end zone. Point after, right down the middle. And that'll cut the lead down to 18. So that drives 7 plays in length. And it culminates in a touchdown by the Broncos. Here is Wisnowski to boot it away following the touchdown. Taken in at the 3. And up to about the 26-yard line, just across the 25. Henry Ruggs and the Raiders set to go back to work. He might be on his way to a record-setting performance. So good here. We're only in the second quarter.
And it's so interesting when we watch these types of days unfold for a receiver because they need a quarterback throwing it accurately, people to block for the quarterback, so many other variables. But, boy, he's getting it done and in a big way. Right now, he wants to rock on every snap.
He's counting his yards in the hundreds, not the tens. And they'll indeed start on the ground to run that clock. And he's going to be taken down with a marker on the field. So let's see about the call. So a decent gain, but all for naught on the penalty.
It's too bad, isn't it? They were feeling pretty good about it. Only people celebrating? The guys who just gave up that play.
They'll fake the handoff. Now Fields. He'll let this go deep for Ruggs. It's caught inside the 25. And he will score. Touchdown, Las Vegas. Henry Ruggs. As the first half is winding down. And the Raiders will extend their lead here just before halftime. And that looked almost to be a case of, a quarterback saying, hey, I'm going to throw this as far as I can and hope you run under it. Mission accomplished.
And I'm telling you, nothing will light up a crowd more than a play like that. Here in the stadium, all eyes were on the receiver streaking downfield, and everyone was thinking, throw it, he's open. What a connection there for the touchdown.
And that throw, wow, 72 yards in the air, according to Next Gen Stats. Now Parkey for the extra point. And they open the lead up now to 25 points. Those are the ones the offensive coordinators dream about. One-play drives from that distance. What an effort. It results in the touchdown. So not much time to speak of remaining in this first half as the kick's away. And not wanting to risk anything here late in the half, he'll just take a knee and they'll bring the football out to the 25. The Broncos onto the field, ready to start their next drive. And they'll take over with just 16 ticks remaining before intermission. And they're just going to run it here up the middle. And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. So we've come to halftime after a very one-sided beginning to this one. As we send you to Orlando to check in with Jonathan Coachman at our EA Sports Halftime Report. Coach?
All right, Brandon, thanks. A few teams starting to rise to the top as it's time to take you around the NFL here in Week 6. We'll start with a good one in Southern California. Green Bay in town to take on Los Angeles in the NFC. And that game tied 21-all in the second quarter. A lot of offense there.
And just like that, on we head to half number 2.
With both of these offenses having their way, it's not likely they'll need to be doing a whole lot at halftime. But the defenses are definitely in need of some adjusting. And for the call of the second half, let's go back out to Brandon and Charles.
Yeah, Coach, certainly no shortage of action in those first 2 quarters. Definitely got to work on my touchdown calls, so we'll see how much voice I have left for the second half here. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And he'll be dropped at the 21-yard line, so bringing it out of the end zone. It's not a good decision, loses him about 4 yards. Henry Ruggs and the Raiders set to go back to work. creeping up on 1,000. Could get there on this drive. So a challenge for him to do that, but also defensively maybe a challenge for them to not allow that.
And that means probably kicking even more coverages to his side. And what that really means is wherever he lines up, you will have a cornerback over in his area. Now instead of blitzing your linebacker, drop him into coverage. Instead of the safety dropping into regular coverage, that safety moves into that area to try and discourage the quarterback from going to him. That means everyone else, win your routes. You got an opportunity to catch passes now too.
Yeah, a little bit of a cat and mouse game. Off play action, Fields. He'll let this go deep for Ruggs. And that's going to wind up incomplete. Nearly their first pick of the game, but it does bring up 4th down.
After what they faced during this game where they've given up a ton of yards downfield, that has to be a measure of revenge right there for the secondary. They've been shredded throughout the game and finally forced an incompletion.
Rifles one, and that's going to be intercepted. Picked off by Justin Simmons. And he will return this one to the 30-yard line. Pretty much everything went their way offensively in the first half, but now an interception on the opening drive of the third quarter.
As we know, the key to everything here, don't get careless with the football. The problem is you've got to stay aggressive as well. So where's the line between being aggressive and attacking and being overly aggressive? I think they just crossed it on that one.
So now a look at the Broncos as they head back out there for their first possession of the second half. Now they just got a little help from their defense forcing the turnover. Now can they make that pay off in points?
They need to, partner. They're down on the scoreboard. Need to take advantage of those opportunities, and this is a good one right in front of them.
So 1st and 10 now from the 30.
11, empty.
They'll try to get this running game going with Williams. Give him 5 on the carry there, and it'll be 2nd down.
Well, they certainly have been able to get him going and establish the run, so I think it's time to abandon that plan and start chucking it all over the park. And you know who's excited about that? The defensive front. They got to just pin their ears back and get after him now.
2nd down at 5. Now Burrow. And he's going to hook up with his big tight end, complete. And they do get him down, but not before he's able to slip it inside the 5-yard line.
And remember, this drive started off following the turnover, and they've taken no time working their way down the short field. A nice connection there, and now they're looking at a 1st and goal.
Williams shifts by him. Give him 2 yards on that one. 2nd and goal now.
Well, they're hoping that the second half is better for him than the first half. They've got to find a way to get him going. He's a big part of their offense.
On 2nd and goal, Burrow. Touchdown! A great play there. With his 2nd touchdown of the game and 5th on the year. And the Broncos use the short field to their advantage as they cash in for 6. Extra point right down the middle. And that'll cut the lead down to 18. So that drive, 4 plays. And it ends with a Denver touchdown. Here is Wisnowski to boot it away following the touchdown. This one fielded at the 5. And able to get this out to the 25. Here he is, the man taking the snaps under center, heading out for the next possession. And nobody in the stadium feels better than he does right now. Just a slew of touchdown passes. He's been spectacular.
And you and I both know this is a team game, one of the best team games that's out there. But right now, I've forgotten what the scoreboard even says. Just watching what he's doing.
Been fun.
That's been mesmerizing and a whole lot of fun to watch.
He's hoping to keep it going here in the third quarter. Meanwhile, they take a shot to start the drive, but this is going to wind up incomplete.
Oftentimes when you're losing a game and the team's still throwing with this kind of a lead, you start playing a little more physically. And they took that opportunity right there to be extremely physical and force that incompletion.
And they'll run on the inside handoff. And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4. In the first half, he was held in check on the ground, but despite that lack of production, they still have the lead.
And they've got to feel fortunate about that. If they could actually get production from their lead horse, that would help open up this offense and widen this margin, too.
Now a shot taken on third down, but it's going to wind up incomplete.
How about some applause for the defense there? They forced him to throw that one into coverage, and just like that, they're staring at a fourth down. Well done.
Well, the offense failed earlier on the previous crack at this, but they're going again on fourth down. They snap it to Fields. Got his connection complete to Ruggs. And he'll be out of bounds just shy of the 40. A big play that time on the catch and run. Both sides were holding their breath there on that fourth down play, and the offense can breathe a sigh of relief.
And both knew exactly where the first down markers were. You know the defense is trying to guard those sticks and try and keep people in front, but somehow, some way, those guys found a way to pick it up.
So a 1st and 10 now in Denver territory at the 42-yard line. From the gun, they'll try to run it. Nick Bolton there on the tackle.
The way things have gone in this one, the running game's been something of an afterthought, and that's not been too bad for them, has it?
Yeah, the offensive returns have been good, but I guess we figured he in the ground game would be a bit more involved. Powers through it, and he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time, and making it work.
And able to break one tackle, but then quickly brought down. And that's in the game. 47 yards rushing for him now to this point. A lot to praise on this drive, obviously. I know you're seeing what I'm seeing. Those guys up front, they're getting it done.
Doesn't matter what play is called. They are handling their business at the line of scrimmage and dominating right now on this drive.
And he'll take it down here just shy of the 15 at the 16-yard line.
Well, this has been a long drive. In fact, it's eating up a good chunk of the third quarter, which is precisely what you want when you're playing with the lead. You control the football, you control the clock, and impose your will on the defense.
So the ball down to the 16 here for 1st and 10. Hands it off out of the gun. He's down inside the 10 to the 8. And it comes on a gain of 8.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive. Because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense getting a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. Here's a handoff out of the gun. And he'll take it into the end zone for a Raider touchdown. A great effort there. With touchdown number 8 on the year. And the Raiders add on to their lead. Now Parkey for the extra point. And they open the lead up now to 25 points. So the drive goes 75 yards, 10 plays. And the capper that put it in the end zone, a run of 8 yards. Sanchez now, he'll kick it away following the touchdown. No run back here, down to a knee, and this drive will start at the 25. The Broncos offense now gets ready to head back onto the field. After the long touchdown drive we just saw, you wonder if maybe that's taken a little of the wind out of this offense's sails, because they had it going pretty good last time too.
Had to sit over there for a little while, didn't they? You know, they were eager, amped up to get back on the field after just scoring, hoping to get the ball back quickly. That didn't happen, so I'd say come out, just kind of get started again. You know, it doesn't have to be anything dramatic. Just get moving, get loose again, and see if they can.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. It was the safety blitz that ultimately did the job, and they're going to credit him with a sack.
How about that? One of the so-called little guys putting the pressure on. That was a strong safety. When I was in college, we often called that a lightning blitz.
So after the sack, they'll come up on a still manageable 2nd and 13. From the shotgun, it's Burrow. Under pressure, they got him again. They push him back 8 yards that time on 2nd down.
So, Brandon, we sat in with a lot of coaches, and when they talk about things they want to accomplish offensively, I'm not sure that sack and sack are on their play sheet.
So they'll get a little extra time to come up with his 3rd down play as we played 3 quarters. We'll return with more after this. This is the NFL, and it's on EA Sports. The Broncos on 3rd down. 3 for 7 so far in this game. This will be 3rd and a mile. Now it's Burrow. And he's going to go down again. Ashton Davis. That's now back-to-back sacks, and it brings up 4th down. The Broncos send out their punter now as the drive goes backwards, so he's on to punt it away. Now a fair catch called for and made right on the 45-yard line. So possession goes over here on the punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. Henry Ruggs and the Raiders set to go back to work. What a game for him, Charles. 4 touchdowns. Heck, for a lot of guys, that's a good season number.
You're exactly right. And let's face it, we have to stand up and applaud this one, even though we're supposed to be neutral. Because this is caught. Touchdown, Raiders. Nico Hardman with his 2nd touchdown of the game, number 8 on the season. And the Raiders are looking to make it 2 straight as they add on to this 4th quarter lead. And sometimes you just got to marvel at how these guys can throw the football. He gave that everything he had, and it was right on the money. And from where we sit, if you had told me that that ball was somehow going to get from point A to point B, I would have told you no way. I mean, that was an absolute cannon shot. And he still dropped it right on the money, too.
Yeah, and that throw, my goodness, and even 70 yards through the air. Now Parkey for the extra point. And this one was over a while ago as they just add on to their big lead. Those are the kind of drives they like on offense, from the coordinator to the quarterback, the line, everybody. 1-play drive and into the end zone for 6. And he'll just sit on this one as their drive will start at the 25. Here's the Denver offense now as they get set to take over here. Their mini 2-game win streak appears it might be going by the wayside unless they can pull a rabbit out of their hat. Throwing now, Burrow on 1st down. Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. The safety blitz staged to perfection that time as they sack him for a loss of 6. Protection certainly going to need to be a bit better here on 2nd and 16. Another try after the 1st down sack. Burrow, his throw incomplete. At this point, down big, you'd have to imagine this defense are just going to sit back, blanket the field as best they can.
Yeah, this is actually the easy part of the game for them because, just as you noted, they can sit back, keep everything in front of them. But they blanketed the field the entire game, coverages.
Blitz coming, and down he goes. The safety blitz staged to perfection that time as they sack him for a loss of 6.
We've been around this league for a while, and many coaches never pull their starting quarterback, almost no matter the situation. In this case, though, I think he's got to make a decision. He's taking a pretty good beating out there.
Yeah, and with the deficit, maybe not wanting to risk an injury. A 41-yard punt, 9 on the return. And the Raiders will have a short field to work with as they take over. Now the Vegas offense heading back out there. And this game comfortably in hand. The scoreboard speaks for itself, but you still got your starting quarterback out there. When do you go to the backup, let him get some time?
And that's one of the great questions in the NFL, Brandon, because I'm just going to tell you, in the 2015 season, I commentated on 3 games in a row that were blowouts. And in none of them did the starting quarterback ever come out of the game for the team that had a big lead. And in each instance, I asked the coaches later on, why didn't you do that? And they all looked at me and said, just don't really do that in the NFL. You know, these guys play, and we just play. All the way through. Now, in certain situations, they will take them out, but for the most part, they're not as worried and concerned about getting them out of the game, and that's always puzzled me a little bit.
They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And he's going to be taken down here with a penalty flag on the field. So some holding over on the left side of that O-line.
And I know for the guys trying to move those big defensive people, they'd love for them to stay in one spot. But they move around so quick and so fast that sometimes you just have to grab them.
From the gun, he'll hand this off. And he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. It's a loss of a yard there, and it's second down. And they'll run on the inside handoff. And he'll get it down this time to the 17. 77 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
Well, partner, I know this type of running back. I mean, this size, this intensity usually gets better as the game goes on. I just tell you from experience, the first few quarters, oh, you're eager. You come running up there. I'm going to tackle this guy. By the fourth quarter, you're coming up and thinking about it.
And D-line wearing down fourth quarter. Yeah, that's not a guy they want to see consistently. No doubt those are the types of carries they're looking for here, Charles. The lead in the fourth quarter. This is when coaches that have a reliable running game, they breathe a little easier on the sideline.
Yeah, they love the idea that they can take the air out of the football at this point of the game. That means they're really counting on that offensive line, counting on the runners, taking care of the football. Because you're going to tell your quarterback, hey, no time to be a hero. We're not going to throw it here. Just eat up that clock. And if you have the ball, they can't score.
That gets them 3 yards closer here as it brings up second and goal. From the gun, they'll try to run it. And they are going to score again. Yet another touchdown as they just add to their totals. I'm not sure what other ground there is to cover here. I mean, this offense has been amazing. Just total domination, Charles.
They click so well, and if you really focus in on the offensive line, they protected well when they wanted to throw the ball. They moved people off the line of scrimmage when they wanted to run it. Smiles all the way around. This offense has been really good in this one.
Sanchez now. He'll kick it away following the touchdown. And this will be a touchback, so they'll bring it out to the 25. Denver's offense now set to go.
Let's just be frank. They're playing for pride at this point.
That's all that's left, because victory, not a chance now. And I can't wait to see how they actually go about doing it, because there are a lot of people watching the body language of the guys on the field now, and if they call plays...
That's into a crowd and intercepted. Picked off by Trayvon Mullen. And they'll start with great field position at the 41-yard line.
CD, this defense, man, at this rate, they're just having fun out there right now.
And normally with this type of a lead, if you're a starter on defense, you're saying, hey, let the other guys play. But with this going on, no one wants to come out of the game. They all want their shot at picking off a pass.
A little bit of daylight on that first down run sets him up nicely. 8 yards on the carry. Ahead of the chains now, 2nd and 2.
Brings up 2nd and 2 at the 33-yard line.
Hands it off out of the gun. And he works it to the 30-yard line here, right at the 30.
2nd and 2 is prime time for a little bit of a gamble, isn't it? Open up the playbook, go play action, toss that bad boy deep. But in this situation, go ahead and give it to your back. Let him pick up a first down. Keep the sticks moving.
And inside the 20 before he's brought down. Charles, it's one thing to win. It's another thing to win and put up the amount of points that they did. Boy, were they clicking on offense.
They can't help but feel great about themselves, can they? I mean, what a game to put up that number of points, continually feeling like they're moving